My name is Arnold August. I'm the author of the chapter entitled Tibet or Xizang's Leap from Serfdom to Socialism with Chinese Characteristics. That trip in 2023, a short while ago, actually began, or the story actually began in 2006 during my first trip to China. That is where I learned that the Qin dynasty, 2,000 years ago, how they placed much importance on the issue of infrastructure. For example, at the time, 2,000 years ago, transportation was carried out by horse-drawn carriages, but the axle width of these horse-drawn carriages were different from one carriage to another, thus creating ruts, holes in the road, making it very difficult and dangerous for the people to carry out their work of bringing services and food and other goods and services to the Chinese people in that area. Thus, when I got onto the train in the neighboring province of Xizang, we started on a very long trip to Lhasa that lasted 22 hours at a height of 500 meters, almost half the height of Mount Everest. And over a long period of time, it was a 22-hour trip, we finally arrived there. But this showed the importance. Building that railway was an amazing, even by Western standards, an amazing feat of an engineering, just as the 2,000 years ago feat of standardizing widths of horse-drawn carriages. So once in Lhasa, we went to visit, amongst other things, the boarding schools in that region, because this is one of the bases in which the West attacks China with regards to the boarding school, the so-called suppression of the Tibetan language. When we were there in the boarding school, we asked the students, we asked the teachers, what are the languages that are taught there? Well, they said first Tibetan, then Han Chinese, then English. English is important for allowing the Tibetan people in the outlying region to attend the very high-level university schools in China, as well as other subjects such as physics, geography, history, morality, politics, gym, health, etc. Now, this compares, how does this compare to, we also, by the way, visited Lhasa itself. And contrary to what is said, all the institutions there, they receive very much funding in order to, not only to protect, but to promote the history of Tibet, its language, its culture, its religion, its social systems that existed many years ago, and which Tibetans should be proud of. It's well known in history. If a country wants to eradicate or commit genocide against a people, they have to eliminate the seeds of that people. They have to eliminate the origins of these people. That's history. But it's the opposite that is being done in Tibet. And several experts have remarked, reading my chapter, that one of the most important parts was when I compare the development of the Tibetan language in that area to that situation of the native peoples, the original people, or original peoples in North America. For example, while in Tibet, it is in the Tibetan regions, 96 to 100% of the people speak the Tibetan language. However, what is the situation in the United States of America? One of the main principles, one of the main bases for attacking China on Tibet? Well, in the native people, only 3% of the population speak their own language. Compare that to 96, 100% in Tibet. What about Canada? It's a bit better according to official statistics, but I think it's exaggerated. In Canada, they say 13% of the native people speak their own language. I think that what is important, many people, what I do to bring this out, I share an exclusive interview that I carry out with Ellen Gabriel, an important spokesperson of the Mohawk region. She explained to me that when her mother tried to speak the native language, she had to whisper in her ears. She had to say, well, you are not a savage. You can go to school. You are not dirty. You can go to school. This is the condition that existed and still exists to a large extent in Canada and United States. In order to get this book, you could just Google Amazon or Ingram. The title of the book is China Changes Everything. Please get it and help us circulate it. Thank you very much.